You know, I've been streaming on Twitch these last few days, and honestly, it's actually been really fun. Funnily enough, I've been playing games like Stardew, Balatro, and not to mention Nine Kings. It's been a lot of fun, but I wanted to try something different, something unique, something I've never done before today. So I did what any sensible streamer would do and invite his chat along to play with them, which was gonna go great. Oh, well, that's really unfortunate. But even then, I wanted to set out and do this for myself. So I took it on myself to begin, and that's what I did. But I should probably tell you the challenge, shouldn't I? The challenge is simple. I'd be playing God of War, the 2018 edition, and for each 30-minute window I had, I would spin a wheel. On this wheel are a series of difficulties for the game. The 4 difficulties are: give me a story, give me a balanced experience, give me a challenge, and give me God of War. And the goal of this stream, as well as future streams, is to complete God of War while shifting difficulties. But that isn't all that's included in there. I also made sure that if I was to roll give me a story, that I would give myself some debuffs. The debuffs could range from listen to loud heavy metal so I could get disoriented in the middle of a fight, or something as simple as use only your fists where permitted. This was to avoid potential issues in the game where you'd need to use the Leviathan axe or a later weapon in the game. I also included some incentive for viewers too. If I gained a follower or a subscriber, I would spin another wheel. This is going to be a lot of wheels. And a different effect would happen. These ones range things like speak like Kratos for the remainder of the time, or stand for the remainder of time. But they could also get to reload your last save file, and if you've never played this game before, saving doesn't happen a ton. It only saves when you save it. With the challenge rules out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into our game and see what happened during the stream. So, I had begun the game, and prior on stream, I had rolled the give me a balanced experience option, which would definitely help the next 30 minutes. So, after walking through the first scene, going out on the boat, having a conversation with Atreus, of course.
Father?
What?
Did something change?
And walking up to the house, we encountered a very endearing and sad cutscene of Atreus with his deceased mother.
Oh, there do I see my mother. Oh, there do I see my father. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me.
And then Kratos takes his dead wife and lays her in the fire, igniting her into a Norse blaze. Rest in peace, Kratos' wife. You will be remembered.
I will remember you.
Now, the video is already too memey, so let's get back on track. Kratos told Atreus that he is to hunt deer, and this is where the game picks up. And let me remind you, this game is still a challenge, so even with some of the chaos that can happen, if you, watching this video, join the stream, you can cause all this to end, potentially, of course, with a follow or even with a subscribe. So make sure to follow or subscribe accordingly and catch the streams. I took off with Atreus leading the way, and the first thing we ran into were Draugr, the first enemy type of the game. They were fairly easy to dispatch, thank God, and as I took them out, it taught me the baseline of combat, to which I would disregard later, but I'll talk more about that deeper into the video. At this time, the timer was sitting at close to an even 14, so I only had 16 more minutes until I would have the potential to change up the difficulty, which meant I needed to cover more ground, or else I risk it all. And risk it all is what I did, because I took off on another direction and picked up more materials while I was practicing my newly developed Kratos impersonation. I am Kratos. I also found a small spot that I thought would be a good find and discovered a small set of wolves. I felt horrible after these poor beasts were taken down because they were precious dogs. And Atreus mentioned they were just hungry, which made me feel even more worse about everything. And yet we found more hack silver from a dead body in a grave. +1 to my grave robbing skill. And then climbing chains. Woo. Now, the next thing I wanted was a special chest with runes I had destroyed with my axe. I made quick work and recovered a weirdly named item called an Idun apple. I don't even know how to pronounce it. They help increase HP though, which would prove useful during this challenge, especially if I was to switch difficulties. We then spotted the deer again, and we went further into the temple. We were going to take a shot, but Atreus knew he couldn't take the shot just yet despite the distance. And deeper into the temple, we found another bunch of Draugr. These ones were just as easy as the first, and honestly, I just love fighting them on this difficulty. It gave me some room for error, and I was starting to get a better hang of the combat, including using the axe to freeze the easy enemies and then burst them, just like I did right here in the stream. I then went out into the Frosted Lake and took out more wolves and a few Draugr to boot. With one more toy in my arsenal, I went back towards the temple and collected more hack silver, as well as found a hidden area with a wooden design with the lore of the Norse mythology. It was unique to see, since games that depict ancient lore are far and few between. I was excited to see more lore in the future too, if I managed to find it in future streams. After dinking around and realizing that I can just drop a firebomb to open a gate, we went to the edge and found the deer. Atreus aimed down the bow and took down the deer with one shot, but unfortunately, Atreus didn't finish the job. Kratos had Atreus finish what he started, but he was hesitant, to which Kratos helped him drive the knife. It was a touching scene with the father helping his son, but also sad since the deer was so majestic. I mean, look at the white and blue fur. And before Kratos could reach his arm over to console the boy of the game, a giant troll came in with reckless abandon. The giant troll named Dadi Kompmadir fought against us and managed to take me low, but I had Atreus' arrows to help bring down the troll a peg or two, and then of course, after a little bit of brief fighting, Kratos did the Mortal Kombat finisher.
Finish him! Fatality.
And of course then Atreus came in and just stabbed the ever-loving hell out of the troll, which was slightly concerning or worrisome. Not sure which one though. And then, though Atreus complained that he wasn't ready, we trekked through some forest to return to the hovel since he was not in control. And to my surprise, I forgot that the timer had elapsed to 31 minutes, which meant that I needed to add 1 minute to my next timer, and we got an extra roll. Alright, back to this. Time for another spin on the wheel. Let's go. Another balanced experience. Okay. Another 30 minutes. And as you saw, same difficulty, which honestly wasn't too bad looking back. It gave me more time to take care of the threats while also pushing forward, especially for what was to come in a few moments ahead in the video. Also, can't forget to include the part where we crushed the hell out of an ice Draugr. Check it out. Ooh. Summon that bitch. Oh, I also forgot to mention that for a while when backtracking, I had forgotten to turn on the timer. Whoopsie. Rookie hours over here, you know, I really do suck at this multitasking thing. Oh boy. But by the time we returned to the hovel, Kratos collected the ashes of his wife in a really finely designed bag and took time to console Atreus. He did the Rocky with Atreus, and with a large rumbling, shortly after, someone appeared at the doorway. Atreus went down to hide quickly as Kratos scrambled to hide him. But then we opened the door after it was safe for Atreus, and Kratos met a stranger at his door. He was crude and pompous, but he did have some sick tattoos. Kratos tried his best to reason with the stranger, but then he took it to a new level. He punched Kratos and bitch slapped him a few times, and with that, Kratos decided it was over the line after the 1-2-3 combo breaker. With one punch to the god, the stranger got up and launched Kratos. Oh! Over the roof I go! Oh! God. Oh, he's coming back.
How incredibly disappointing. Come on, then.
I mean, the fight started out, and honestly, the stranger proved an interesting battle. Sure, I pinned him in the wall for a minute, as you can see here, but he got a good couple of hits in here and there. This is where I started to utilize the shield more, and got used to summoning forth the axe after throwing it towards him. But then the stranger pushed us to the roof, and the next series of actions were my favorite out of this full fight. My... Oh, right to the roof. Oh shit. Suplex. Oh, off I go.
Struck a nerve, did I?
Oh, tree.
hiding?
Oh.
Slow and you should never have come to me, God.
And he's healing back up.
So, care to try again?
You talk too much.
Oh, come on. Oh, through the wall. You know, a couple more cutscenes later, we were slammed into the rocky wall and unlocked a cool feature that I absolutely loved, the Spartan Rage. We broke apart of the tree and ran him through the rocky wall, effectively ramming his ass against another solid structured wall before engaging in combat once more. The Spartan Rage proved very powerful, and it was also really fun to see what the combos were capable of. Even if they were just my fist, I got to rip half his health bar down, and then I began to use my axe to kick the crap out of him some more. And then right against the rock, we spun and threw him against it. Oh, yeah, 1, 2. Oh, right through, yeah, yeah. And here comes the tower. Damn. I love the fact that everything just breaks just due to this thing's force. And you think it would be over, but it's not. Kratos breaks the rock overhead with his shield, and more cutscene follows. This part is a bit more on the stale side, so I'll kind of summarize it. The rocks break around Kratos. Kratos and the stranger fly through the air. Kratos catches the rock with his axe, and then we fought him one last time. By the end of his HP bar, we threw him to the edge of the cliff and then took him into a stranglehold. And with one set of buttons, I was ready to do yet another Mortal Kombat finisher.
Finish him! Fatality.
Oh yeah, and then we decided to litter his corpse down as I took a nice sip of my nondescript beverage of choice. Afterwards, walking, the walk of shame, we recovered Atreus and told him we'd have to set out, to which he responded with, "Yes, sir," which was definitely a welcome change. We then took off in the wilds. 48 minutes now were on the clock. Another hour or so to go. When we took off, we did a lot of walking and not much fighting. It was mostly collecting items, solving simple puzzles, and traversing new terrains, which was okay. It was just nice to set up ways to traverse back for future, if I made it that far at least. And then we noticed the stave surrounding the location up on the hillside. Apparently, it had been around for us a while, but the stave broke in response to Kratos chopping down the tree from earlier. And it was interesting to think why she did that in the first place, at least Kratos' wife, meaning. Regardless of what I was thinking, we continued down the path until we encountered more Draugr, and this group was a little larger than what I was used to for the most part, especially when some of the Draugr were throwing flames at me, which made the fight a little more difficult. Atreus then read out some runes for Kratos and me, and then we climbed to the next spot, which revealed a very special item, a runic. Runics in this game, as I understand them, are a special item you imbue into a weapon. This one would prove useful later in the stream, but it definitely looks interesting from my attempt. Then, Atreus does the dumb thing and walks forward without a care, knocking through a bridge until Kratos grabs him, pulling him close and landing against his back. And surrounding us was a large amount of Draugr. And with 59 minutes on the timer, we had to make quick work of them. A lot of them got some pot shots in, but overall, it wasn't too bad. We cleared through them and managed to stop close to 1 hour and 1 minute. Now, the next roll was going to seal my fate. Time to roll yet again. Round 3. What do we get? Oh, oh, well, time to up the difficulty. The worst part of this roll was simple. I thought I could go to Give Me God of War difficulty, but I couldn't. So I had to settle with the next best thing, which was being able to use Give Me a Challenge. Also, if you made it this far, tell me in the comments what type of divas I should include on the wheel for future episodes. I'd love your take on what I can add to the streams, and hey, makes it more, entertaining for the people that join the streams. And the YouTube streams as well. And after this is where things took a harder turn than what I was expecting. The walls started shaking, and a new type of Draugr came around. A beefy boy, a meaty tank. One that even on the new difficulty was only losing small bits of health, and that's with the Leviathan axe. And to add to it, another freaking one came through. Fighting against both of them, my focus was majorly split. I tried my best, but unfortunately I lost my first life in this particular run. I restarted, this time trying a different strategy, and then 3 more arrived. At this point, my immediate thought was, how much suffering can a man endure? The next thought I had was, how fast can the Leviathan axe rip through these guys? Especially when they were all sitting on top of me. From here, my health was ripped
real low, so I had to move around the battlefield carefully, ensuring that I wasn't going to be hit. Then I went full fury, Spartan Rage. I managed to defeat 2 of them, and it was one-on-one at that point. It was way easier to take him down, especially since during all this time I had been using the runic, and just like that, I made it through. I could take a sigh of relief, but immediately a voice rang out. The next challenge was ahead of us. A Revenant, a witch-style design that could avoid my attacks and spat poison at me. Not to mention, she was fairly slippery. The first fight resulted in my death, even though I was close. The second time, though, was about the same. Consistent attacks, poison, the works, but then I fell to her. The final time, I had to resort to cheap Smash Bro tactics. Spam up B, or in this case, throw the axe at her head and hope to God she doesn't outright kill me right then and there. And to my luck and to my cowardice, I managed to win a cheap fight. And of course, at this point, dying 3 times, I decided I was going to need some new moves. But I misread the abilities and pressed onwards because obviously I don't know how to read. But that's neither here nor there. We encountered another enemy, this one with a purple HP bar. The game did mention in the past that if it had a purple HP bar, it meant it would be stronger and more difficult to face. Of course, this meant that I was in for a painful whooping. And the worst part was, I was right. The fight was hard. Not only did it increase my death amounts by 3, but it also proved to be a one-shotting monstrosity, one that I had to be careful of where I dodged. Despite all of these fights and all of these deaths, it did make me realize something. I needed to change up my style a little bit. Instead of dodging prematurely, I needed to just let my rolls come natural, let myself be in the combat, especially with all of the sluggish moves. That's when I beat it, and claimed my reward. More hack silver, but some useful materials as well, specifically Aegir's gold and soft Svartalfheim steel. Horrible pronunciation, I know, bear with me. With now 3 crazy combats in a row, I thought I was due a break. I wanted to reach the peak, and no, not that game. Although it's a good game, you should watch the short I made about a peak at one point. It's not that sort of thing. And yet this game just keeps repeatedly punching me where the sun don't shine. More Draugr. But not just any Draugr, the melee ones that also had the firearms on them. It was always the firearms, and there were tons of them. And the best part? They had purple HP bars at level 2. And one of the fireballs killed me due to poor rolling. Yet another death counter add-on, future me. After the first fight though, everything became a lot easier when I ripped that Draugr in twain. Yeah, just like that. I used my runic to keep up the pressure, but eventually burst into Spartan Rage. I wasn't going to keep taking hits like that, especially when those little weaklings were my target. Once everything was cleared, I opened up another lore drop, a giant stone word was depicted, and Atreus said the funniest thing at the end about Thor.
Hrungnir's body squished him. Idiot.
A solid delivery, Atreus. Let's set up an Atreus win counter, right there. Perfect. From this area, we collected a bit more hack silver, cleared out the ruins, and pilfered the glorious chest, which revealed yet another Idun apple. I was so close, just one more away. And then we dropped the drawbridge and pushed forward. Maybe here soon I would get a bit of a break. And yet again, this game had to spite me. I also really ought to stop saying the word break. No matter how many times I say it, more shit just keeps appearing. I mean, how many Draugr can be in one place at one time? From here, you know the drill. Fight, 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 death, repeat. This happened about 3 times total, mainly due to the Revenant. And let me remind you, the meaty Draugrs with the annoying Revenants make for a terrifying combo, one that feels impossible to deal with at times, especially on this difficulty. The 4th and final try was a lot easier. I took down the Revenant, managed to isolate the tanks, and got lucky a few times over. Or so I thought. I died right at the end, which brought me back to 4 deaths. Awesome! Without much hesitation, my eyes shifted to the clock. It had been 30 minutes. We managed to push through and make wonderful progress with just 30 minutes. Now was the time where I'd be blessed with a wheel. Maybe I'd be selected with a balanced experience. Or maybe I'd get a story mode with a debuff. I was so excited. Let's see what happens. Oh, come on. You can't be serious. This game is like, no, you're not going to get out of this that easy. Son of a... And we're back to square one, fighting these damn creatures yet again. But not before I looked at the options that I could use my XP on. And honestly, I got one for Atreus, Almost bought one for Spartan Rage, but stopped at the XP cost. Then I realized the skills I looked into in the past could actually be bought for the XP that I could use. And then I realized the bottom requirements for an additional bonuses. Mark me as dumb, honestly. But back to the point at hand. The skills that I picked up were hard to incorporate, but they still proved useful. Instead of sitting around and using the same 3 hits, I had a strong weapon attack. I could make it, and I felt in the groove for the first time in forever, even as my HP hit staggering low. And then I died again. This was starting to get ridiculous to me. I took another deep breath and fought through it yet again. Another battle, another bout. Another series of dodging, ducking, dipping, diving, and ducking. Because as a wise old man taught me, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. On this battle, we managed to take them down, and then a neat trick came back to help me, freezing the Draugr. That made all the difference as I kept wailing on the purple HP bar and taking him down before finishing the last one left behind. Thank God. If I had to fight this encounter several more times, I was going to lose my mind. But on the plus side, my Spartan Rage meter was full, and that's a win in and of itself. Now to move forward, I had to get the bridge, collect another steel, and then went into the gate. I wasn't going to jinx myself, but then these goddamn bandits appeared, and they were certifiably crazy. I mean, listen to them.
Sigmund, your knives! So many days without meat.
Meat? Wait, us?
Behind me.
What if they change like the others? We'll have to keep them alive. Strip off their meat. A little at a time.
This fight is mine alone.
And despite having to have another fight, I ripped them apart like butter. Especially with the runic. It ripped them to pieces. They just evaporated, like it was nothing. I guess that was the power of a god in comparison to mortals. And when Atreus was taken hostage, he took down an enemy, and I rushed over to check him out. After he got up, he was visually phased. I mean, it's not like people have to fight their own kind. Stuff like this in video games always makes me sad, but it's a lesson that bad things happen in this world. And before I could contemplate further, a Draugr appeared. They had risen from their death. I sighed as he took another fight into the fray. I released my Spartan Rage on these monsters and made quick work of them, which was another welcome change on my itinerary. And before we cleared the next spot, Kratos had a moment of reality with Atreus, which showed him that he wanted to push ahead. It only took 3 button presses too, and then Atreus dropped the chain down. From there, we collected a bit of hack silver, looted another corpse on the side of the walkway, and then went towards the voice that was screaming out our way. This was the moment we met Brock, a strange blue individual. We couldn't move due to the creature he had that was blocking the way, but Atreus mentioned something was in there, in the forest, not too far off here, which is why the creature was scared. So, Kratos threw his axe, and when the axe came back, the creature was up and at him. From there, we got some interesting information about the Leviathan axe and about Brock.
But Mater, me and my brother, was one of our best. So don't let nobody else go work on her except for us two.
Now this was the moment we all had been waiting for, an upgrade. Brock sold armor, weapon upgrades for Atreus, but more importantly, he increased the strength of my Leviathan axe. That was enough in and of itself, but I splurged and did a few upgrades. About Atreus a basic runic vestment, about Kratos a Reaver tunic, and then I also upgraded the Reaver tunic for good measure. My stat total was 26 in strength, and my defense was 19. I also sold the 4 lost toys and the mask because everyone knows I'll butcher its name like the apple. Again, more Draugr dropped down to the pits afterwards and engaged with me. I didn't have Atreus this time, so I was all on my own, but this armor and axe improvements were keeping me afloat during all of this. I managed to clean a lot of them up and didn't even die once. The Reaver tunic got the zombie seal of approval, patent pending of course. With that, Kratos, Atreus, and I took off for another adventure. We had a lot of road to cover and not a ton of time. I mean, after all, don't forget that a follower or a subscriber could cause me to grow closer to my demise. Funnily enough though, we raised a large door only to find our way back to the arena where I got my ass handed to me heavy-handedly, but it was another pathway for backtracking if I did need it. With that in mind, we went to the gate where Brock was and crawled through heaps and heaps of bones. Yuck. Inside the temple was ominous, but I also couldn't take a hint of the yellow markings at the top of the door until I stopped overthinking. Classic me. Then, with the axe, I opened up the pathway into a room, and I pushed the door too far, which revealed a chest with steel. The platform we were going into next was also precarious. Draugr summoned forth, and it made me realize that I could just crush them. That being, I had a mechanism that raised the roof, but if it was released, then it's gone. So I used my axe to keep them at bay, and the machine crushed them to death. I had to do this a few times due to the annoying instances of these beasts summoning, but hey, I lived, so there's the silver lining. In this room as well, I noticed that the runes were hanging high and took a look around. I managed to break down a couple, and for the final one, I was stumped for a moment before I realized that maybe there was more to it. I spotted the final one, but I couldn't reach it. My aim was not true. The angles were too hard, but if I changed my perspective, this is where I found out that I could aim down instead of having to aim up, and all it took was me being a bit smarter than I thought I would need to be. I went up and past the walkway, went over, hopped onto the mechanism, hit it, we raised up, and then I broke the rune. When we settled down, I grabbed the runic chest and was shocked to see not an apple, but a blood mead. The game mentioned that blood mead would raise my Spartan rage, but would require 3 like the apple. So much for a rare drink. Unfortunately, despite my adventures, it was time to call it a day. 2 hours had passed by and I was a little tired, but despite not having any viewers, or any followers, or any subscribers, we overcame the initial challenges, fights, and now we wait patiently for our next stream on July 19, 2025.
Hey everybody, Future Zombie here. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed this content as much as I did, because honestly, it did take me quite a while to make, but hey, it was worth it. If you do want to catch future streams, I recommend that you follow me on twitch.tv/theundeadhope. You should see it somewhere over here, one of the two, so sorry if it's not in the right spot. Oh, and don't forget, you can also hit that subscribe or hit the bell notification to see when my next video comes live. I plan on doing these every so often, so keep an eye on it. You'll see it pop up every now and again. Oh, and then one more thing. If you want to, join this Discord. It's down in the description below, just to make sure that you get all the updates, see where I'm live, see when videos come out, and I can't wait to begin building a community that we can all be a part of. Until then, everyone, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe out there. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you later!